So we need to install Java and then install this Jenkins steps, but always choose this long-term support release. If you use, sometimes we might get errors if you are choosing weekly release because they just developed it. They are also not sure whether it is going to work. So we need to test, and we if we are getting any errors, we need to inform Jenkins. Okay. So that's the reason we don't use weekly. We'll go for long term. Okay. So let's go inside my EC2 server. So I'm going to do sudo su. So I'll check for any updates. And coming to the installation of Java. So anyways, I did the sudo apt update. I'm going to use this one. Sudo is not required actually. Already I switched as a root user, but they have given like sudo. If you don't mention sudo also, it's fine. But you can still use sudo also. Okay, so I'm going to install this Java. So here, if you see apt install open JDK. Okay, what is JDK means Java Development Kit, and it is like 17. Okay, so this kit is of 17 version. So it's being downloaded still. Okay, so what is the next step here? So whatever Java installed, I can see the version as well. Okay. So this is JDK version, but not the Java version. If I want to see the version, I can see. Okay. So it is also like 17. So JDK 17 version is installed here. Okay, 17.0.7. So Java FN version. Okay. So now Java prerequisite is completed. So now we can proceed with the installation of Jenkins. So I'm going to the support long-term support release. So if you see here, there are like totally 4 commands. Okay. So curl is one command, echo is one command, and this is one command, and this is one command. Okay. So you can use all the steps together also. Okay. But let's use step by step. So the first step I'm using, if you see there given slash, right, which means that the command has not completed. Okay, so that's why they're given slash. So here also they given slash, which means that the command has not completed. Here also they given slash. Okay, so that's why I know like this entire thing is one command, and entire this is one command till here. And next we have 2 more commands. Okay, so first let me install this curl one from here to here. And one more thing, so this Jenkins application, right? Okay, so it's a Java based application, and this Jenkins application will run on port number 8080. Okay, so remember that. So your Jenkins application will run on 8080 port on the server.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So next, I have done two steps are completed. Apt get update, and the last step is apt install Jenkins. Okay. So they will also ask you on which port Jenkins is running. So not a basic, very like uh, not a great indirect question, but sometimes they will test like if you are aware of basics or not. Okay, so you already installed previous Nginx, right? After installing Nginx, how you used to access that application from the browser? So similarly, now also we'll try to access the Jenkins application similar way.
Sir, one question regarding this, sir. Is it not possible to do this in user data?
Yes, sir. Good question. Yes, sir. You can do it.
Okay.
Okay. So now Jenkins is installed. Okay. So in whatever EC2 server I have installed this application, right? So what I will do now, I will go to the respective EC2 server, capture its IP address. Okay, so there's Jenkins, or not this one. I've given the name as Jenkins Installation. Okay, so I'm going to copy this IP address. And on which port did I tell you Jenkins will run?
8080.
So will I be able to access it?
No, sir, you can't.
So what I should do, ma'am, here now?
You have to link with that code, na, sir.
Yeah, so do you remember when we were running Nginx on port 80? So what you used to do, ma'am, to access it on port 80?
OTT.
Do you remember the concept of security groups?
So we have to go to HTTP, sir.
Yeah, HTTP means port 80, no, sir. It will open port 80.
Yes.
Yes, port 80.
Now, which port we need to open for Jenkins?
8080, sir.
Yeah. So every server, we need to open ports. Okay. So since this application is listening on 8080, so you need to show some door, some entry for it. So then only it will be accessible. Okay. So where you can show that entry for this application means, so I told you Jenkins
Security.
will listen on 8080. So you need to make an entry. So every server will have some security groups. Okay. So you should click on that security and come here and click on the security groups. Okay. So can you see inbound rules here? Okay. So only port 22 is opened by default. Okay. But click on edit rules, add rule. So anyways, it will be custom TCP only 8080. Keep it as anywhere. So on the server, we are making an entry. We are allowing it. Okay. Because this server is running on 8080 port. If you are not exposing that port, outside people will not able to access it. Okay. So I have opened 8080 port. So now will I be able to access now? Okay. Yeah. So because I have opened 8080 port, so I should be able to access Jenkins. Okay. So now what Jenkins is telling me, it is giving me some instructions. Okay. So can you read this, like what is it telling? So to ensure Jenkins is securely set up by administrator, a password has been written to the log, and they are storing the password on a particular file on this server. On which file? So there is a file here under this path where lib Jenkins secrets, this path. So this is the file actually. So how do you view the contents of the file? There is a file. So you are going to create some .txt file in Linux, like touch some file name. But if you want to see what is present inside the file, what is the command you use? Let me show you.
Repeat your question, sir, again.
Like you have some files, ma'am. Like you used to touch command and create a file, right?
Yes.
So you want to see what are the contents of the file, what is present inside the file. How you can see that? Okay. Now let's say
C.
CD
Yes.
means to go inside a directory, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So there is a command called cat. Okay. So cat and the
Yes.
file name. Okay. So it will print what is present inside the file. So here we have nothing here, so it's not printing anything. Okay. So we do cat readme file. So it is telling there is some line present inside it. Okay. So we use cat command in Linux to display the contents of the file. Okay. So we are going to back to the Jenkins. Why I told you about this command means they are telling that there is a file present, okay, under this path. Okay. And from there you need to copy the password here. Okay. So they are telling on your server, since you installed Jenkins, there is a file and stored here, that is your password for Jenkins. Okay. So how do you view the contents of the file? Using which command? Cat command, right? So what I will do, I will go to my Jenkins server. So they are telling since that is the file present there, so I'm going to give cat and the file name which is present under that path. Okay, so this is where I'll get the password. So what it is telling, okay. So if you see there is some extra code copied here, something extra brace. Okay. So now can you see something here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Passport is
So this is the password. Okay. So they didn't give us password directly. They give some hack like something. So they're telling go to that particular path and fetch the password. Okay. So we are going to go there and take this password. Okay. So I'm going to paste it here. Okay. Then I click on continue. Okay. When I'm going to install Jenkins, right? So it is asking me to install some plugins. Okay. So Jenkins will come with lot variety of plugins. Okay. Plugins means something like add-ons. Okay. So add-ons means which can integrate with some third-party services. Okay. So anyways, I will discuss about plugins later. So you need to install this one, suggested plugins. Okay, install plugins the Jenkins community finds most useful. Okay, so it will download lot of plugins now. Okay, so we need to wait for some time. All the plugins will be installed because I told you, right, Jenkins will do lot of automations. So to support all that, they will have wide variety of plugins to do it. All these are going to be installed.
there no option to download directly, sir, from the Google?
Jenkins, sir,
Yeah.
directly in the sense there are, sir, but first we should come from this stage.
Java is important, Nasami. But first we have to install this Java, then only we can
Yeah, Java
access
you
to
should
that.
install, like then you should install this. But there are some things, sir, but you'll know as we go actually, all of those. Okay. But we should start from here only. Okay. So you are creating some Jenkins account and it is asking you to set up some username and password for your Jenkins account. Okay. So I generally give like
How to manage site is everything like
yes, ma'am.
every application they have their own user password, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. So that's why I'll give some become DevOps everywhere actually. So I'm telling my passwords. Become DevOps. Become DevOps. So this email address is not actually required, but give something. It doesn't matter if we give some any dummy email also. Okay, so I'm going to click on save and continue. Okay, so now can you see the Jenkins URL? So what is this IP address? So
This is
from
the
where?
server IP address.
No, this is this IP address from where we have taken this.
From the platforms.
From our EC2, right? From our
Yes,
EC2.
sir.
Yeah, this is the IP address of my EC2. Okay, I'm going to click on save and finish. So what it is telling now, Jenkins is ready. Okay, so it is telling me that Jenkins is ready. Your Jenkins setup is complete. Start using Jenkins. Okay, so if I click on my Jenkins now, I'll be welcome to my Jenkins dashboard. Okay, so this is basically a Jenkins application. Okay, but we have like we installed it. Okay, so where did we install this application?
Maybe in desktop, the computer.
Yeah, on where, sir? But desktop only. But where we installed here?
Jenkins in the AWS, right?
Yeah, AWS. So on AWS EC2.
EC2 server.
Yeah. So this application is running on EC2 server actually. Okay. So previously in cloud, already we know we were creating servers, but the applications we weren't running there. Okay. So now we see that we are running one application on our EC2 server. Okay. So now if I can also provide some domain name to this. Okay. So it is IP address, but I can provide some domain name. So it will be my Jenkins application. I can log out. Okay, I can log in. So welcome to Jenkins. Okay, so my username is become DevOps, and I'll give my password become DevOps. Okay, once I'm signed in, again I'll be going to my account. Okay, so now in Jenkins we are going to do all that activities whatever I told you at the beginning.
So one question, sir. This Jenkins will be installed in the laptop, or we have to use the IP address?
Sir, actually, you are getting confused, I think. So this laptop, this Jenkins is not installing on locally, sir. It's directly installed on EC2 only, cloud.
Okay, now I got it.
Yeah. That's why I read this IP address. So from where did I get this IP address? It is like EC2
From
IP
same
address.
EC2. Yes.
Yeah. It is my EC2 IP address only. Okay. So everything we are doing in the cloud, actually, our laptop is nothing we are doing in our laptop still now. Okay, so we didn't do anything on our local. So only thing I think like git bash, like the code should be developed locally, right? So that is where we use that. But other than that we didn't use anything locally. Okay, so if you see our EC2 servers, so for my one EC2 server I have given something like a launch instance. Okay, so this is my IP address of my Jenkins server which I use, and on the particular server only on the 8080 Jenkins is listening. Jenkins is running. Okay. So in Jenkins, whatever I told you, right? Okay. So Jenkins is an automation tool. It will do a lot of things. So whatever I showed you here. Okay. So basically, where Jenkins is going to come into the picture. So basically, when developers are going to push the code to the GitHub, so Jenkins will take that code and do the build and create an artifact and deploy it to the server. Okay. So tomorrow, some interview is calling you and also asking you, so what you are going to do? Okay, how you are going to deploy the application? In simple words. Okay, till today what you understood you could tell the same thing. Okay, so we have some tool called GitHub, so where our developers are going to write the code and store it on the GitHub. Okay, so we have Jenkins tool, which is a continuous integration tool. Okay, and we use this continuous integration tool called Jenkins or automation tool. So I said, right? So remember this point also, I didn't talk about CI part, but I will again discuss that. So you can tell
Did
Jenkins.
not, sir, you did not send any notes, sir, yet.
Yeah, notes
All
is
the
ready,
I
ma'am.
told
I'll
you.
just send you. It's ready actually. I'll just bring
I
you.
told the small definitions like a single line, or
Yes,
we
ma'am.
can just
All are
remember for
ready. I
which.
actually ready. I
Yes,
just
please,
forward.
sir, send us that one. We'll take a printout and we'll keep that
Yeah,
one.
now only I'll send you. So Now, so Jenkins is like an automation tool, okay? But before doing build and all, we will understand the functionalities of Jenkins, okay? So Jenkins can do lot of things, but slowly we try to install this Jenkins on our server, and we have brought this application up. Now Jenkins application is up and running now, okay? But we need to explore its features, okay? Once we have explored its features, slowly we need to do all kind of activities like build activity, deploy activity, all this, okay? So now let's go to Jenkins and understand. So in a Jenkins, basically you are providing some instruction to Jenkins. So based on your instructions, Jenkins is going to do all these activities, okay? So whatever you tell Jenkins, it will do, okay? And whatever capabilities Jenkins has, you should understand that. Based on that, you should provide instructions, so Jenkins will carry out those activities, okay? So in a sense, it is like an automation tool. And basically, whenever you are providing to a Jenkins any task, any instructions, okay, that is something called as a job, okay? So you are going to set up some jobs in Jenkins, okay? What is job actually? When you are telling Jenkins to perform some task, okay, that task actually we call job in terms of Jenkins, okay? So you can treat this is also one task, but I will not call this as a task. I will call this as one job, and this is one job, like that, okay? So now if you come here, so we don't have any jobs here, okay? So even it is telling that this page is where your Jenkins jobs will be displayed, okay? But I don't have any jobs created, but today we'll create one new job, Jenkins. So can you see something here on top, new item, okay? So this is where we create the jobs, okay? So I'm going to click on new item. So it is asking the item name. Basically it is nothing but job name. So I'm going to tell my first Jenkins job. So so there are some kinds of projects you need to select here, and I'm going to select freestyle project, okay? So later we'll select pipeline also, but since we are just beginning, select freestyle project and select OK. So now you are given some job name, which is nothing but first job, first Jenkins job. So that is your job name. So in this job name, you can provide instructions to Jenkins, okay? So what instructions we'll give? So it is asking some description. So simply I'm writing, creating my first job in Jenkins, okay? So come down here. So later we'll use this source code management, build triggers, all this we'll use later. But come to the build steps, okay? In the build steps, if you click on here, there are a lot of things here, but click on execute shell, okay? There are a lot of things. Just click on execute shell. Shell means basically that we can provide some commands, whatever we can provide on Linux servers, okay? So that's why we are choosing execute shell. So can you tell any Linux command, any basic one also? If you did anything on Linux,
mkdir
mkdir,
touch
no, mkdir, what we need to give?
directory name.
Directory name, some directory we will give, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Now touch. So
File name.
some file name,
File.
okay? So jenkins.txt, okay? So I'm going to save this job, okay? So basically this is job actually in Jenkins we try to create, okay? So I clicked on new item, and I given some job name, I given some description also, and I have come down to the build steps. And here I've chosen execute shell. Means shell means it will like act as a Linux, okay? Linux prompt, and I can provide any commands here. So since we know this Linux commands, we have given this, and I'm going to save this job, okay? So my job is saved. Come back to dashboard now. So are you able to see the job, whatever you created? Okay. So what it is telling? First Jenkins job. So if you click here, what it is telling? This job is not built. Means this job, no one had run this job. Okay. So if you want to run this job, okay, so you need to click on your job name. Okay. So now, can you see something called build now here? Okay. So you need to click here. Okay. Then the job will run. Okay. And we call something as build numbers again here. Whenever I'm going to click on build now, whenever it is running for the first time, that is called build number one. Okay. Again, the same job, again, I'm going to run it again. It is called build number two. Okay. So it's like instances of the jobs. Okay. Whenever I run my first job, I will get the build number one. Okay. So I'm going to click on build now. So can you see here? Okay. So this is called your build number one, and you can click this to get the output. Okay. Your job output is being provided here. You can click it. So can you see the console output? Okay. So the first line, who had run this job? So this job is started by user become DevOps. Okay. So because I am logged in this account as a become DevOps, and I only clicked this job. So that's why it is telling this job is run by Jenkins. Sorry, become DevOps. Okay. And what commands it has executed? mkdir AWS touch jenkins.txt, and it is saying this job is success. Okay. So let's come to the dashboard again. So can you see a green mark now? Earlier, like it was three dots when this job was not run. Okay. When it was not running earlier, now it is running. Okay. So can you see how much time it took to run those commands? Whatever commands we provided in this job. So it took 0.17 seconds.
70, 0. Yeah, milliseconds, sir.
Yes, yes. And it happened like 59 seconds back. Okay. So I will create one more job now. You'll get better clarity. Okay. So to create jobs in Jenkins, whenever you install Jenkins, go inside the Jenkins and click on new item. So everything we call jobs in Jenkins. Okay. My second job, Jenkins. Okay. So I'm going to choose freestyle project. Okay. So you give some description, but not mandatory also. You can just leave it. Okay. So don't give description. Go back, go to the bottom, build steps. Okay. There are other things also which we are going to see Maven and all later, but still we are trying to understand the functionalities of Jenkins. I'm going to click on execute shell. Okay. And I will create one mkdir cinema. Okay. And cd cinema means like I'm creating a directory and also telling my Jenkins, so go inside that directory and then create one file. Okay. Some movie.txt. Okay. So a file called itmovie.txt is created. So under which directory it is creating? Under the cinema directory,
Cinema. Yeah.
because we are going inside cinema directory and then creating this file. Okay. So I'm going to save this. Now come back to dashboard. So can you see this job is run or not? There are three dots. It is telling not built. This
It's
job
not
has not been built. So you need to run this job. How did you run it, sir?
Manage.
so
You need to click on this job. Okay.
yeah, click here, yes.
On
Build
the
now.
left side. Yeah, I need to click on build now. Can you see the build number one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I will click on this green check mark. and it is telling this job was run by this particular user. Okay, and what he did do, he created one directory, make directory cinema. It was created and it went inside that cd cinema, and then this file was created. But where are this being created? So can you see one more here, building in workspace, which is very, very important. Okay, so now if you see, sir, what is this my second job Jenkins, what exactly it is?
You have created the second one, na, sir, the
Yeah, your second job
second
name.
item.
Yeah, so this job name is a second job Jenkins. So my job name is this one. So where exactly it is being created here?
In this file
Mm.
Under
server,
where lib Jenkins workspace. Okay, so I will bring this up. Okay, because this is very, very important. Where lib Jenkins workspace. So what exactly is this? This is the home directory of Jenkins. Okay, so this we need to remember. So we need to by heart this. Okay. So home directory of Jenkins. Okay.
So we have to remember this one, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Var
This where
lib
lib Jenkins
Jenkins.
workspace. So how do you
Okay.
remember this as the home directory?
Mm-hmm.
It is the home directory of the Jenkins. So I told you, right?
Okay.
Like if you are going to create any jobs, where exactly these are creating? In this directory. So like one job is created here, like another job. Okay. So whatever jobs you are going to create, all the jobs where exactly they are going to create under the home directory of Jenkins. Like consider this as a job one, job two. Okay. Now, if you want to see the these jobs, whatever we are creating, you can go to your server and you can find it. So under which path you will find it?
Dashboard.
Where lib Jenkins.
Where lib. Yes.
Yeah, on your server,
And,
not on the console. So if you want to see
mhm.
all these jobs, okay, as part of your second job, Jenkins, what did I do actually? If I click on this output, so what are the instructions I gave given to second job? I given
You
all this.
created directory. Yeah.
Yeah. So now let's go to my server. Okay, so here I am now. So can you tell me my home directory of Jenkins, what it is? I should go to that
where,
directory. Yeah. So I will do
where,
CD, right? In order to go that
yes,
directory. CD where lib
Lib.
lib
Jenkins.
Jenkins and
Okay.
my Jenkins job name,
No, sir. Still where lib Jenkins
Workspace.
workspace.
the workspace.
Okay. So basically, what is this? Where lib
This is the
Jenkins?
home directory of
Yeah, this
Jenkins.
is the home directory of Jenkins. Okay. If I do ls, what I will see here in this job, in this path,
You can see the file.
you can see the jobs, ma'am, all the jobs.
Uh-huh.
So how many jobs I have till now? How many jobs I
Two.
created?
Two jobs
Two
are.
Two.
jobs.
Yeah, two jobs, right? So as part of second job, I given some instructions, right? cd my second job
Second job.
Jenkins. Okay. So I will do ls. So can you see a cinema directory is created?
Yes, sir, the file.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the
because
directory.
I told mkdir
Directory.
cinema. Okay. So then I told also go to cd cinema inside also. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then create one file, hitmovie.txt. So I will go inside that cinema and see whether that file is created or not. Okay. So cd cinema ls. Okay. So can you see, right? So hitmovie.txt
Yes.
file is created. Okay. This
Okay.
file is created. So as part of this job, we given some instructions and it has performed it. Okay. Whenever we had run that job, so it is doing all this. So as part of first job also, we given some instructions. So now this is my first Jenkins job. So do you remember what instructions we have given as part of first Jenkins job?
mkdir
Yeah, first Jenkins job.
make directory.
So if you want to go inside the job, sir, again, you created the job and again, sorry, ma'am, you told something.
No, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. So you created the job again, you want to edit it. Okay. So can you see something called configure? Okay. So if you click on configure again, you are going to inside the job. Okay. So you can see the commands also. What I have given mkdir aws touch jenkins.txt. Okay. So just to see this, I have come here. Now I'll go to my EC2 server, cd first Jenkins job ls. So can you see mkdir aws is created, touch jenkins.txt. Those files are also created. Okay. So all these are created because we created these commands as part of our Jenkins jobs. Okay. And where are exactly these jobs are created? In the home directory of Jenkins. Okay. So where lib Jenkins workspace is the home directory of Jenkins. All jobs are created here. Okay. So we need to do all of this. Okay. So but before doing all this, we need to install Jenkins. Okay. So that is the most important thing. So you go to your AWS. Okay. So create an EC2 server. On top of that, you can install this Jenkins. Okay. So if you don't know like the commands, okay, so you can also explore that jenkins.io documentation. So I will anyways helping you this link in WhatsApp also. Okay. Or I'm pinging here also. You can just go through it. I think the meeting is also about to end actually. So we'll meet again tomorrow. But if you have any doubts, again I'll connect if you want me to connect. Or else we'll continue tomorrow.